Hi, I'm Daniel Findling with Findling Law and the DivorceGuy.com blog. I created a series of videos I call the Michigan Divorce Education Series that talks about everything related to the divorce process, custody and parenting time, alimony, how to modify, you name it, I have it covered. And those are available on our website at thedivorceguy.com and on YouTube at Findling Law. I thought it might be a good idea to take this opportunity to walk through maybe in a little bit more detail some of the minutiae as it relates to the divorce process. And a common question that I have is concern typically by the dependent spouse about how am I going to pay bills during the divorce process, or how do I protect the assets? Let's take a short look at a clip concerning this exact topic.
Now, in many cases, we enter ex parte orders. And ex parte comes from the Latin, in the absence of the other party. And what are these ex parte orders and why do we enter them? Well, the first type of ex parte order is called a mutual restraining order regarding property transfer and preservation of the marital estate. This order is entered into to prohibit both parties from selling, encumbering, transferring property during the divorce process without the consent of the other party. We do not want any major changes going on during the divorce process without the other party knowing about it. We don't want to sell stock, we don't want to sell property, and so forth. And the second order is a financial status quo order. This is another order that's entered in many cases, ex parte, at the time of filing without the other party, and it typically provides that both husband and wife shall continue to contribute towards all of the marital obligations as they did prior to the divorce process.
All right, so we talked about these ex parte orders, and what they mean literally is without the other party. There are some other ex parte orders. Sometimes we want to get an order on an ex parte basis because of an emergency for custody or parenting time. For example, if we have an individual who might have been arrested and there's a domestic violence or a drunk driving charge, we don't want them to be able to necessarily exercise parenting time and endanger the child. So, or children as the case may be. So we may want to get an ex parte order that is filing with the complaint, an ex parte order for custody or parenting time. But I want to take a look at these. Let me see if I can pull this up here for us. At an order in a little bit more detail. So here we have a ex parte order for maintenance of financial status quo. And the first thing to understand with these orders is that they are mutual. Both plaintiff, that is the person who brought the lawsuit, maybe the husband, maybe the wife, and defendant, the person defending the office, are obligated to maintain the financial status quo and continue to contribute towards the payments of all the marital obligations, including but not limited to mortgage, taxes, utilities, car payments, homeowners insurance, and so forth. And because it's an ex parte order, the other individual has an opportunity to object to that order. And that's what this notice requirement down here is about. It says that you can object to the friend of the court and have a hearing before the court. But when the divorce is filed and this order is entered, it is enforceable. And it protects primarily the dependent spouse from worrying about who's going to pay the mortgage. How is it going to be paid? In the exact same way that you paid it before the divorce was filed. Now let's take a little bit closer look at this second order that we talked about here. Here we go. So this is a mutual restraining order regarding property transfer and preservation of the marital estate. Once again, it's mutual. That means it's going to apply to both husband and wife, or the plaintiff and defendant as the case may be. And what does it order? Well, both plaintiff and defendant and anyone that acts on their behalf, whether it's an employee, a servant, an agent, they're prohibited from, and here's the endless list, removing, hiding, transferring, damaging, selling, encumbering, conveying, surrendering property during the course of the divorce. You can't charge debt, spending assets, or using marital assets as collateral. You can't cash and withdraw, accounts and so forth. And you can't borrow, you can't let insurance lapse and so forth. You can't remove furniture, neither party, from the premises, including the home computer and so forth. Now, paragraph 9 here is probably the most important paragraph because we've restrained you from doing everything except this order does not prevent the parties from providing for the necessities of life or from engaging in transaction necessary in the ordinary course of business. However, the parties shall notify each other before taking any extraordinary actions. So a mutual restraining order regarding property transfer first starts with this broad stroke that we're going to restrain both parties, both the husband and wife, plaintiff and defendant as the case may be, from everything except those things that you have normally and traditionally done. You can still pay your mortgage, you can still buy groceries, you can still do all those things. But if you want to do something extraordinary, like liquidating a 401k or cashing in a bank account, you'd be violating the court's order, subject to the powers of contempt, which could be fine or jail, depending upon the type of contempt and the severity of it, absent the consent of the other party. So simply put, if you want to do something, you have to ask and get permission. And hopefully that permission's in writing. So what's the key learning here? When we file for divorce, we want to make certain that things don't change. We know changes in the future. After all, there's a divorce. But we want to make sure is that bills are getting paid in the same way as they have been in the past. That is a financial status quo order. And we want to preserve the marital estate so that there's no waste. I'm Daniel Findling with Findling Law and thedivorceguy.com. Welcome you to call us if you have any questions at 248-399-3300. And of course, during this difficult time, I want to wish everyone good health.